Namaste. Namaste. I'd like to talk a little bit about how love and surrender is really what makes life beautiful. Without that, what is love? What is life? Without love and surrender. And I remember once Swami Ganeshananda, my teacher, said somebody was saying something about one of the students who was very dear to him, saying something critical or didn't understand what was with this person this way or that way. And Rudy said, well, you love somebody and they become beautiful, which was such a simple thing. And I know for sure when I look at you guys, you all look beautiful to me. You really do, in your own each unique way. In Norwegian we have the word klang. Each of you is like a vibration of that divine spirit. And none of us are perfect, but in that glow from within, the essence of us, we really are perfect. As Deva and Janat were saying, we are one being. And we can share in that, and it's wonderful. The more we are in touch with that, the more we are aglow with that love, and of course it takes suffering, not suffering, it takes surrendering suffering is what I meant to say, so that when we experience the difficulties, challenges, various things that are obstacles, we have to go deeper than that. And that's where surrender comes in. We have to not run away from those challenges, but to really embrace them and transform them into an uplifting experience. And I'm sure you've experienced the bliss of falling in love, right? I mean, that's wonderful, but it doesn't last so very long. And during the time when we're in love with someone, then the person seems perfect. There's nothing lacking, there's nothing to criticize, nothing to point out. But after a while, we start to notice, well, a person may not be quite as perfect as we thought. And then what happens to falling in love sometimes just turns into conflicts, and then parting ways, being, in worst case, enemies. So in order to not have that happen, the only solution is to have conscious love. That means, doing this practice that we're doing, or some form of practice that gets us in touch with that deeper state, where love is the natural flow, But that takes a conscious doing. So as we do that within ourselves, then it becomes possible to embrace one person to more people in that conscious spirit of love. And that's a totally different thing than falling in love. That's staying in love, being in love consciously. And that you can do with the whole world, actually. But you have to start at home, near you, where you are now. And what we are doing here is creating a laboratory for experimenting with that, experiencing that, going into it. And all the things we do together in practice, that's what we're doing. We're trying to become conscious of how we do that. How do we, when we look at a person, not see the flaws or the shortcomings or the things that make us angry or run away or not care, you know, but how do we see that deeper essence that really is beautiful? Just like an art connoisseur will look at a beautiful ceramic vase, and it can have a lot of cracks and so-called ugly things on the surface of it, but because the connoisseur knows how to relate to that object with an aesthetic attitude, you know, which is looking for the beauty in it and seeing the whole thing, not just the parts. And we can do that with people when we really look for the deeper glow in the person and the energy there. What does it matter if one ear is missing or one whatever is missing or whatever is, you know, not perfect? It really, you know, we are just so focused on all those superficial things by training, so we have to then retrain ourselves to not be focused. I said before we left Norway, we are not really going anywhere. We are already there. In Oslo, we have that space, that openness in us, and if we go with that openness to India, we'll find the same thing there. Of course, this is a great place to deepen our experience of that, and but it's not any different. You know? It's the same space, same vastness, same Shiva potential in which the energy vibrates. So this is the way we can do that every day, every moment. We can go through the breath, chakras, flow, presence. Very simple, and life never has to be boring again. And then from that, as we talked the other day, we extend the energy and use that deeper state that we get in touch with in our everyday life, as they are doing. You are doing very well, you know? And this is so much the essence of Buddhist teaching. To not run away from life, but to really embrace it, to have an appetite for life. He had a huge appetite for it. We are all trained to reject ourselves, to not feel like we deserve, and guilty, and all of those things. None of those things are worth getting stuck on. We can transcend all of it by consciously working inside and extending that work. And gradually, we deserve by doing. And we have to convince ourselves, we have to retrain ourselves to do that. And then at a certain point, you know, you'll have glimpses of this state we're talking about, and then you'll feel really immersed in it at some point. You can go, oh, yeah, I am just that state. I am just that. So where are the problems in life? There are no problems in that state. That state just is.